Boom! Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, Mr. A.D. Walker. In the building. Great morning to you. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. And I appreciate you being here. Good morning, Lisa. Blessings to you. Thank you for always sharing. And I appreciate you guys being here. As always, we're going to do this thing, get busy in a little bit. But today and this week, we are discussing the parameters and the lines and definition and understanding of toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity. What does it mean? What does it really mean? And how do we navigate this thing? The misunderstandings of what true toxic masculinity is. And is there a true toxic masculinity? Is it a real thing? Is it false? Is it blown up? Is it puffed up? Is there an understanding of it? And all of that, and then some. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring, as well as never miss an episode. Join our community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. And if you ever missed an episode, make sure you check out our podcast. Go to thebrothersoflegacy.com. Check it out there, as well as on any podcast platform. Type in The Brothers of Legacy. And for all my podcast listeners, I appreciate you as well for listening and being a part of all of our conversations. And, we're on Facebook and YouTube. We come on at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time. So be a part of the conversation live, my podcast people. And then you get to add in and join in our conversations and foolery and shenanigans and all of that great stuff. But today, I appreciate you guys rocking and being with us. So today we're talking about the blurred line of toxic masculinity. The blurred line of toxic masculinity. What does it all mean? Where do people stand on it? How does this term kind of affects society at large and kind of subliminally change the mindset and perception of men? And pretty much we're going to dig into that. So make sure you share. Sharing is caring and all that. And then some. Pastor was having some technical difficulties, so he'll be in a moment. Uno momento. And joining us for this conversation because we're going to really dig into this and get some definition, some clarity, and the things that are being attacked that are attached to toxic masculinity that we must shed light on and dismantle. Yes, dismantle, because there are a lot of misunderstanding and it's misconstrued. And there are some true things. There are some things that need to be shifted. What up? Greetings, Willette. Grand morning, grand rising. I like to mess with her about that. But yeah, it's definitely a discussion that we definitely need to have, get some clarity in. I did a little research, of course, about some of those things that are being, some of the definitions of it being pushed, as well as some of the topics or issues that are connected to toxic masculinity, which really have no bearing on toxic masculinity. But yeah, we're going to dig into that this morning, as well as this week, the different ways and perceptions and perspectives on this particular topic. So yeah, so make sure you stand back, make sure you tag somebody, get other people in this conversation, because everyone has had this conversation either on one side or the other, in the agreement of certain things and disagreement of others. So make sure you tag somebody, inbox people, say, listen, this brother's about to talk about toxic masculinity. I want to put my 2 cents in. And we, of course, open the floor to questions, comments, concerns, things of that nature, because Brothers of Legacy is all about pushing our conversation forward, having the conversations that most people are not having, and getting clarity in the words and definitions of things that maybe misused just a little bit too much. Good morning, Keita. Welcome to the brothers. Thank you for rocking with us. So yeah, we're gonna dig into that. So make sure, like I said, share, tag, invite. If you're not on our text community, if you joined it and just got the text, make sure you share the text with other people. Say, listen, you need to come in here, check this out. Did we just talk about this last week? Did we just talk about this last month or yesterday? On yesterday, that's the church term. On yesterday, on tomorrow. So make sure you tagging other people as we get into this conversation. Because it's an important thing. It's important. It's very important because it's a lot of blurred lines. It's a lot of blurred lines, and sometimes as a man, with some of the movements, you're feeling like, how am I to operate? How am I to position myself in this space when it seems like certain male traits are being squashed or suppressed, or you're like, what am I to do? How am I to navigate this thing with so many lines, and you're wondering how to be effective yet not disrespectful, so we're gonna dig into this. It's a whole plethora of things that we're gonna discuss this morning, as well as going into this week. So I made it a whole week because it's a lot to talk about. We're gonna spill into a lot. All right, so let's see. Without further ado, like I said again, make sure you share. We're gonna drop this intro and we'll be right back.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy.
Hey, we're back. All right, welcome back, everybody. So today, like I said, we are discussing the blurred line of toxic masculinity and some of the definitions or attachments that come with the term toxic masculinity, and why it becomes difficult to navigate as a man when there are such blurred lines and you're not sure what's right, what's wrong. And then, a lot of, as males, we, now how we were raised are coming into question. And it's like, is everything wrong? Or is some of the things wrong? What's wrong? What needs to change? We've overcome the which I consider toxic, where, boys or men don't cry, right? The being in touch with our emotions. For a long time, the notion of men don't cry, boys don't cry. You kind of tough it out, push through it. And it's now being attached to a toxic masculinity, whereas to me, it's just a suppression of real emotions, really how I'm feeling, and just holding things in and never discussing what hurts you, what bothers you, what makes you feel certain ways that aren't that aren't related to or the foundation of anger. Anger is something we are taught to kind of deal with in certain ways, Like, don't suppress the anger, utilize the anger, fight. You know, we are encouraged in our aggression, but never encouraged in our emotional support or emotional states. So I will say with that notion, that may be a toxic masculinity taught as far as the suppression of our feelings, feeling sad and showing and crying because, I'm gonna keep it real. When things happen, when you have a good cry, a good snot cry, when, when things kind of, aren't going your way, when they kind of falling apart, you just like, you just, it is a release, keeping it real. It just, it's kind of like just in the tears, it just comes all out. And you just like, you can get your head straight, focus, okay, what's the next move? What's the next decision that I need to make? Once you kind of get it out, granted, sometimes it is, as far as societal or society, yes, the whole public breakdown of a man crying, um, in some ways is frowned upon, and it's the public of it that is probably the next phase, like, and kind of like the double standard thing, you see a man break down and start crying other than a funeral. Death is death, from whoever, from my friend to a relative, it's death is death. That's the space that as a man, you're allowed to kind of have a moment, break down, cry. But outside of that, when the pressures of life get to you, when things aren't going your way, that sounds so kid-like, but it's the truth. When things are just, when one door slams in your face, this happens and this happens, then this, you're like, can I catch a break? Like everything I'm trying to do is not working. Everything I'm pushing forward is just not working. It's falling apart. When I think this thing is a sure thing, like, okay, boom, I got this, and it falls apart. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning. The having the breakdown, and keeping it real. There's ladies in here. It's like, can you handle a man that has a breakdown? I guess, is there a limit? It's like, dude, you're always crying. And like, is there a limit? So some of those conversations we want to have the frustration built. Right. Well, how much? Let me ask that. While Pastor's kind of working on his tech, and we listen. Like I said, this is all week. It's a lot to talk about. So, how much is there? Too much? Like as a woman, right? Is there a man that's, if he's more emotional? And listen, let me put clarity out there. Not that he is like a weak, like wimpy, like dude. And what I mean, just, like if you're deathly scared of spiders, he's just as scared. And you know what? Is that a non-manly trait? Is that bad too? If we both scared of spiders, like, so because we talk about the toxic masculinity, right? We talk about, you want a man that protects, right? You want a man that is a leader, because that's, for most of us, we believe in the patriarchy, the man leading the household and being responsible, and the safety, the providing in different ways, because women are women making more money doesn't just make you the leader of the home instantly. As a man, I'm still leading. Yes, you make the money, but we can get into all that. But talking about that line, he can't be right. He can't be scared of bugs. I'm already scared. Right. Like somebody got to kill him. So I, like, and I really want to dig into this conversation because, the aggression, but as a man, you take steps. It's like, your wife wants you to fight for certain things. So that takes a level of aggression, like pushing past like the fear of it. like I've said all the time, the craziest thing when you're in the house, you hear a noise in another room, somebody's got to get up. Somebody's got to go check. She said that's a deal breaker. But somebody, hey, Mama Corey, thank you for rocking with us because I'm sure you're gonna add to this conversation as well. I'm glad you're here. But when you hear the bump in the night, it takes the aggression, takes the man to go in the other room. And of course, every man is wishing, prayerfully nobody's in there, prayerfully just something just fell. Nobody wants something that they have to deal with that could be fatal to me or the other person. But it's life. Who takes the lead in these things? There's an for lack of a better way of putting it, and I made sure I listened to Google to make sure I say the word right, but there's like an attack on a patriarchy, and reading some of the definitions, I can see why there's an attack on it, because it's not just a household thing where the male, the granddad, kind of run the households and are the leaders, but they're saying they're placing it as male dominance in society. And that's not the case, because we're talking about inside the home and things of that nature. But going back into the masculinity, the toxic masculinity, where aggression is the first thing that they're saying, I guess there's a level that may be too toxic. What I'm teaching my son, like I know of guys that push their sons to fight, and like, you gotta toughen up, the toughen up thing, gotta be hard, gotta toughen up. And I know for myself that didn't really work. that didn't really work. The whole trying to beat down and to make it tough, for myself, that didn't work. That wasn't what was gonna help me become stronger. It actually made it harder. It really hurt my self-esteem. It took me a while to really press through that, keeping it real. So those type of ways, the being beat up to make you tough and make you hard, those can go into the toxic masculinity spot. But at the same time, son, you got to crush that bug, because kids are just as scared, like kids are sometimes. I don't want to touch the bug. I don't want, and I teach my son, you got to deal with the dirty stuff. You got to deal with pushing through, even when it gets tough, like, and I'm hard on him, because I'm like, dude, one day you're going to have a household. You got to be able to just do, because there's nobody else to do it. You got to learn how to do. You understand what I'm saying? So does that fit into the toxic masculinity? There are times he's pushing or pulling something and he's struggling with it. I'm like, son, you got to learn to push through. You got it. You just got to be able to push through. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I'm teaching him resilience. I'm teaching him persistency. Someone on the outside say, oh, you're teaching him, to be too aggressive. You're teaching him to be toxic. Is he really? So there's that line of, is it toxic masculinity? Or, I'm teaching my son to be a man. And this is kind of the conversation I want to have this week, because I don't want to, you hear, like, I get people in power that abuse the power that they have. I get it. The people that are in the patriarchy, the granddads that abuse their position, because we have to recognize the abuse, but you can't get rid of the position because of the abuse, right? You can't get rid of every male CEO because there are some that abuse their power. Like, get rid of that person, but you can't get rid of the position. There has to be a leader, right? If there's a leader, there is a leader in every organization. There is someone that's leading. Even in a democracy, the president is the ultimate, like, leader. Hey, good morning, Cheryl. Thank you for rocking with us. So yeah, it's we have to be mindful of how we are structuring or how we are changing our society for our safety and for our health. But the term of getting rid of the baby with the bathwater, like, you can't get rid of everything. You have to attack what the problem is, right? Like the 90s was, to me, I think it may have started earlier, but the no means no. Woman says no, she says no. It's back in the day, the aggression of, well, no means I try a different way. No means I keep pushing because I can work for a yes. And it's those moments that have been kind of shoved into the masculinity or the masculine mindset. Oh, this is what we teach our boys. And like I said, I've said before, the double standard of teaching your girls to keep themselves and to find the right dude and to hold on and give it to only your husband, and then teaching our boys to get as many as you like, get as many women as you want. How you teaching them to go get it, and then the women to keep themselves? It's going to be a conflict. It's going to be an issue. It's going to be a problem. So I'm with some of the toxic masculinity teachings or ways, but you can't just. It seems like everything, a big blanket, has been thrown on a lot of stuff that is necessary for the growth of boys to become men. And that's what we're gonna dig into more, because it becomes draining. Like I don't. It's like it becomes, how do I teach my son to navigate the way society is changing, other than, son, you just need to help define it. All right. And as men, we need to help push back and define it. Like, okay, I get you. I'm all the way there with the way men talk to women at work. I'm with it. I'm with it. Like, if I'm interested in the lady, how I properly approach, and understand if she ain't interested, like, like the cat, like it seems like in society now, the cat and mouse chase of me chasing a woman is a toxic thing, So it's okay. So once rejection happened, because it was always the term, she's playing hard to get, and not just in a sexual nature, but just, she's not gonna make it easy for you to get the number. Back in the day, it's like you pursue, you push, but now it's like, do you push? Do you pursue? Are you violating her by constantly asking or finding ways to try to ask out on a date? Are you being a stalker? Or are you just someone that's really interested, that felt like you could add value to her life? That you felt like you could be a great man for whatever reason, whatever thought process, by the way she looks, by the way she talks, whatever it may be. But are you crossing the line, or are you just really interested? And then, of course, at work, if you're pushing too much, you can be making an uncomfortable situation. I agree, because her concern is 0%, which is why jobs have been saying forever, no fraternizing at work, because of those lines of asking or pursuing, making uncomfortable. And then if a relationship happens and the workout, now I got a team, and two people on a team can not really be around in the same space because they don't like each other, or one is constantly attacking the other person's idea because of a relationship. So it's those lines. And I like I said, I get the power struggle. I get the manager using their power to lord over, those that are like the administrators, or those that they're in charge of managing, that are ladies or women. And I get that part. I get the abuse with that. There's also, though, those that may be using, their naturalness to try to move up the ladder a different way. And the manager takes advantage of that. Are they wrong? Who's wrong? Who's wrong in that? Because then, he feeds into what she's giving, but doesn't give the advancement. Is he wrong? Or just a doodle bird that just took advantage of a situation and you fell for it? You understand what I'm saying? There's those lines as well. Because there are those that, like, they're throwing at him. they're wanting something back, and if they're not getting it, now they're crying. They may be crying foul. You understand what I'm saying? So it's that, and then that's thrown into toxic masculinity. So it's these defining lines and understanding of what's the goal and what we're trying to change. That's my point. And we're gonna, I want to have passed on, and I got some other brothers I'm gonna have in this conversation. But today I'm just laying the foundation to, what is it? What defines toxic masculinity? Where does it stand? Should we basically toss that term right there? Toxic masculinity. Should we just toss that term out and begin to find the offenses? What is offensive? What is not offensive? What is preference? What is offensive preference? Where do we stand in it? Like the cat calling, which has been going on for centuries. I'm gonna throw it out there. It doesn't make it right. Like, a nice looking woman walking by, woo, woo, all of that. It's offensive. Oh, ladies, let me know. Is that offensive? Do you feel that's offensive? I think in my head, I guess maybe I would probably be uncomfortable because if I was walking by somewhere and some lady, woo, woo, I might feel like a piece of meat. Is that very offensive? I'm sure it is, but I want to know. Right. All right. Listen, and keep it real. Like, can we keep it real? Like, ladies, if you're in the building and you watch, even if you're watching us on replay, if you're watching on replay, I won't know at the moment, but say, catcalling, I enjoy it. I like it. I like the attention. I'm being real. Let's keep it real. At age 50, boom, that's what I'm talking about, Cheryl. She said, I like it. Deborah said, it's inappropriate. Sam said, it's offensive. And Cheryl said, it's good with her. See, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing. So it's those moments where, like you have some that like it, some that don't. Because I always think, right? If someone says, a lady says, I hate a man that does such, I don't even understand why a man does such and such. I always think he does it because he's done it before and it's worked. If I, if it just works. It works. I think that's some of the issue. Like, to have a ton of women say, I can't stand, I don't know why men do that. It's so offensive. It just, and I'm like, at some point, some woman or women like that. That it unfortunately opened the door to him to shoot his shot in that particular manner. Like the D pics. Wife, the random ones. I'm like, I get it. I could see exactly how that's offensive. I could totally understand. But obviously, he took his shot at some, and he got the response he was looking for. It's unfortunate, right? Someone accepted that behavior. Even unfortunately, violent dudes that hit on women. Either he was in a relationship or seen a relationship. That's the only thing communication should be mutual, right? Compliment and keep moving, right? Keep it moving, right? Oh, let's see. Deborah says, I think a good balance is when a woman is not showing interest, she is not responding to communication. Then leave her alone. I'm 100% on that. I'm 100% on it. And that needs to be the overbearing thing, right? She's not responding. It's, like I said, and there's been the debate of the chase, like I remember, I think months ago we talked about Pepe Le Pew. Like, he was all over her, like always trying to get her. Like, this is, as a kid, this is what I see. And Pepe Le Pew was my man. Like, he was funky, but he was always trying to get him some love. You know what I'm saying? Like all over her. She couldn't stand him because he was funky. Or she wasn't a skunk either, something like that, right? But this is the culture that you see. You know, this was what you saw. You took your shot. What was it? Even as a kid, unfortunately, you know, the touch, like you got there to touch a girl's butt. It was just what we did. Right. And then of course, you know, you go around to smack on you, but it was what we did. It was the risk you took. You know. And I'll say for that, in those instances, catcalling, yeah. In those instances, I don't think anybody ever got a good response. I don't, you know, not that I know in history. Can you let me know? Smacking on some lady's butt, or no, not lady, but a girl butt when you was in the playground. I don't know if they ever got a good response from that or something came out of that. You know, to my knowledge, I don't think so. All right, so Kaneem says, catcall is the attention starter. The delivery of interest towards, right, the female determines the outcome, in my experience, right? The delivery of interest towards the female determines the outcome in my experience. Indeed. Indeed. You know, and it's like I said, what we learn, what things used to be, and what things are now. Like I said, you know, teaching my son, for me, just the boundaries. No means no. You know, like if she shows no interest, let it go. I know she's beautiful. She talks eloquently. It's like you would love her in your life, but it's just not going to happen, brother. Let it go. You know, that teaching them, it's like the art of letting it go. Just let it go. Just let it go. Let it go, son. Because it's you could step over the line of being offensive. You can make her feel uncomfortable, and then you don't know who she know. Now you're causing yourself more trouble than you need. So just let it go. Let it go. You know, and I it's just, but at the same time, you know, push through, be a man, handle business, provide, do what you need to do. You gotta, you know, be able to do the tough jobs. You know, like you know, the old term, I ain't raised my son to be no punk. But you know, be able to persevere, be able to handle tough situations, because when it comes to the household as a man, you the bump of the night. You got to go out there. You know, the big spider, the big rat, like the snake. There's a snake in the house. You got to go deal with it. It's on you. There's no one else in there. Your wife, your kids ain't dealing with that. You know, well, Lexi, I got it. But it's on you. And that's male, that's manhood. And those are the things that are promoted. Those are the things that should be taught. You know, not you know, the aggression, learning how to direct your aggression, learning how to direct your emotion, how to deal, you know, and of course not the holding, knowing how to express, when to express, right now, anytime. And like I said, and another one. So ladies, my ladies in the building, and I asked earlier, but I moved to the spiders, compliments, got the cat calling. What about the emotions? What about the emotions? How much is there ever too much crying that could happen? Like, you know, my pressure level is low. It is low. You know, like I cry, like not to watch the movie cry. Just like my pressure, I bust it out like when it gets tough. I mean, I push through. I don't go into depression, crawled up into the bed all the time, but like I deal with a lot of stuff with tears. You know, can you handle that? Like I fight back. Like, you know, can you try to step into the house? Like I'm gonna fight, but I might cry later. Like, you know, all this aggression and emotion is how I deal. I cry. Can you handle a crier? Not a cry baby, but a crier. This, you know, I deal a lot with tears. So, right. He said, no, be around somebody that cries all the time, male or female. So, let me know, ladies. Let me know. Listen, this is your opportunity to share. Definitely tag somebody. Get some other folk in this conversation. We're gonna be at this all week. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then I think I got Pastor. I think he's fixed the situation and get him in the building. All right, we'll be right back. There you go. Back.
Finally.
Pastor's in the building. Make sure you share. Tag somebody as we continue this conversation about the blurred line of toxic masculinity. Also, listen, I need you to go ahead and go to brothersoflegacy.com. Get your shirt. I'm gonna have Pastor his shirt and everybody that comes on the show so they can be rocking their Brothers of Legacy shirt. Make sure you do so you can be rocking with us while we're watching. Let's see. Oh, she says good morning. Yes, true.
Good morning.
So let's dig into this. Make sure you share. Make sure you connect. If you're not part of our community, text LW into 84576. A lot of stuff I need you to do. I need you to go to brothersoflegacy.com. I need you to text LW into 84576. I need you to tag somebody if you're in Facebook land, and I need you to share this. That's it. Just 4 things. So I appreciate you guys being here, rocking with us. So like I said, we're talking about the blurred line of toxic masculinity. We talked about catcalling. So the general consensus, pastors, everybody doesn't like it except where she sports car lady Cheryl. She said at 59 she likes it.
I think what she's saying is, it's all right to get a compliment.
Yes, the attention.
Yeah.
A little bit of attention. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Define toxic masculinity equal is there. Toxic femininity. Hey, Rich. What you're not gonna do is push my week further ahead. We're gonna get into all of that. It's just Monday, Rich. It's just Monday.
Hey, Deborah.
So, I'm with you, Rich. Just rock with us all week. I'm breaking it down, though. We're gonna get into a lot of different toxicity. So sensitivity, yes, sometimes, yes, indeed. So for you, Pastor, right? I was talking about catcalling. I was talking about, some behaviors of men are, they're because they've shot they went for their shot before in this manner and it's worked. Though, their percentage might be low, but it's worked at some point. Like the random D-pic obviously worked somewhere. So somebody responded the way they wanted them to respond. So they continuously shoot that shot. Maybe it's been a lot of years, but they continuously, that's how they go about. They say hi and then you get a D-pic. Like, what you think? So it's those behaviors. Then I was talking about Pepe Le Pew and how, we watched him go after that girl that I don't think was a skunk, constantly, but we've learned that's how you pursue. Like, you don't stop. No is just, okay, I'm gonna back off for a minute, then I'm shoot my shot again. Like, okay, if not dinner, what about lunch? Okay, if not lunch, what about we go get a coffee real quick before we come to work? And like I said, I was teaching your kids boundaries, or my son boundaries, but at the same time, he's still got to learn to be a man. Like, you got to get the spider, you got to get the snakes, you got to get the bump that you hear in the other room. When things get tough, you got to learn to try to push it or figure a way to fix it. Because you were the man in the house. Yeah. That's what it was, right? She was a cat. She was a cat, and somehow that stripe kept falling on her back from Pepe Le Pew.
Oh, gotcha.
So what for you, like, with the some of the Me Too movement, what are some of the blurred lines that you see when it comes to using this term toxic masculinity? Where do you feel like the baby is trying to be thrown out with the bathwater? Like there are certain behaviors, yes, that are unacceptable, but you can't get rid of positioning. You can't get rid of, some of the things that are part of the male makeup or our position as far as society and our families and things of that nature. Um, what are some of the things that you can kind of think of that are trying to be disruptive to the full, like making it hard to be a man, like kind of like, then what you want me to do? Like if you don't, if you're getting rid of everything that seems to be attached to maleism, for lack of a better way of putting that. Of course, there's aggression, but aggression towards my wife, beating on her, of course, we know that's not it. But aggression towards an intruder in my house helps. Like, if there's the camaraderie, there's the competition, when it's necessary. Me and my wife playing spades, she need me to be competitive. She needs all male thinking and these folks going down. We need to fight this thing, But where do you see some of the blurred lines, or do you see some of the blurred lines?
I definitely, I can tell when someone has gone too far in a particular situation.
Okay.
I guess I have not done enough research to really understand the blurred lines concept. When you say blurred lines, to me that speaks to maybe you got a little confused. I know that it happens. Some guy might, and to me that's some guy taking it too far, and he realizes in this particular setting you're doing too much.
Right.
But I also see it from the other side. There are certain women who you can't say anything to, or you can't do anything. Right. And it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't be here if you don't want anybody to speak to you.
Right.
Right. It's the woman at the club with the great outfit that highlights her figure, right. And it's bright red, right. And you get mad that somebody tell you that you look good. Like, why are you here?
Right.
That kind of stuff. Like, to me, that's not toxic masculinity.
Right. Yeah. So because that's like one of the, kind of how I want to tackle this, because, everything isn't toxic masculinity. Some things may not be appropriate at the moment. Maybe my timing is off, because taking what you said kind of into work, like, I mean, like you want a compliment? Like, is it bad to compliment? Long as I'm not like, like you look really nice today. Like, oh, woo,
I think you have to have
delicious.
I mean, there's a difference between that's a really nice outfit today versus, man, can I hit? Right. But I think it has a lot to do with the personality of the individuals.
True.
Like in a lot of cases, if you're paying attention, when someone is buying or selling.
That's good.
Right. Okay. And I think what happens is there are a lot of people out there who expect everyone to buy what they're selling. And not everybody likes your brand.
Right. Right. That too.
Yeah. That too. Right. And so that can be toxic behavior from a masculine side when you think that everybody wants you.
Right.
But also with women, women, there are certain women who think everybody wants them, but they take pride in nobody having them.
Okay.
Right.
I'm with you.
Yes. My mom says sometimes women go out looking good just for themselves. Absolutely right. But I think there's nothing wrong with putting on a nice outfit because you feel good about yourself and going out, because the bottom line is if you think you look good, somebody else probably thinks you look good too.
Right.
You know, and maybe they have the courage to compliment you. You know, I think it's okay to receive the compliment. You don't have to reject a person because they compliment you. Not everybody wants you because you look good. Some folks just want to say you look nice and they don't want you. You know, don't assume that because someone compliments you is because they want you.
That's good. That's good.
You know?
That's good. So, Rich, don't you know women want to dress good, but not be complimented them? But just leave them. Not be complimented, but compliment them, but just leave me confused. Like not to say anything. I get it. So I got it. So is there? And this is, I'm glad the ladies are in the building because this is I like the two-way conversation and not just us talking and you looking at us with our toxic masculine comments. So we having the conversation, which I love it. Is there too much, or is there any place that's inappropriate to shoot your shot? Like because like I'm working and one lady's like, man, I just want to go to the gym and work out and not be bothered. But most gym wear are form fitting, so it's like, I mean, and granted, yes, no, it's your dress does not excuse our coming at you in the wrong way or coming. I just want to make that clear. But if you're attractive, in my mind, this is my only chance that I may ever see you again. So, I'm attracted. I'm gonna shoot my shot to get to know you. Is there a time where there shouldn't be left? It should be left alone, or like lady, because I may never see you again. Like, oh man, she is fine in that gym wear. Is there ever an inappropriate time? Of course, other than maybe a funeral.
Why is the funeral off limits?
Right. Right. No doubt.
Condolences, but can we have dinner?
Can we go discuss what happened to John? All right. Sam said, right. I ain't the gym to get a man. I'm working.
Yeah, but you may not be at the gym to get a man, but you can't speak for Shelly. Right? Right. Shelly is like, I'm putting on the spandex because that dude that was working the bench presses yesterday, I know he's gonna be back there. And I'm gonna make sure today is chest day.
Right.
It happens. Girls get together. Hey, let's go to Universal Fitness over on 65th because the dogs are gonna be out. But I'm saying I believe that everybody has their own intention for going wherever they go. I personally don't believe any place is off limits. I think you start it's off limits when you're sitting out publicly somewhere and the man gets up and goes to the bathroom and you try to slide in while he's yeah. That has happened to me. I'm out with my wife and I get up and go to the bathroom and somebody shoots a shot because they were waiting for me to leave. And my wife is like, can you believe? And I'm like,
right.
That's bad.
Yeah. Sam says, some women just want to feel good about themselves and be respected for who they are. And
that's great. My only point, Auntie, is that just because someone compliments you does not mean they're being disrespectful. And certain guys just don't have the right training. They don't know how to compliment. Girl, you look good today. Instead of saying that's a very nice outfit. Language can be an issue. Some things are lost in translation. If all you had was your Uncle Pickens, with his dude hat and his, cool foot the Kings, and his, and all he said was
right. That's what I learned.
Some people think that's suave,
Man, that is so, because you're right. If that's where I hung out, if that's who I seen how he hollered at women, I'm gonna do the same ignorant thing. I'm gonna just follow right along because either he got response or that's just all I see. That's
Yeah.
all I see. Like,
Yeah.
oh, let's see. She said I had someone try to holler at me when I'm in and out of a hospital with a sick parent. I get it, but I'm just saying I may never see you again.
Yeah, right. Because 25 years later, that could be the joke at a wedding anniversary.
Right.
Like, can you believe he hollered at me? Well, it worked, didn't it?
Right.
I was taking my garbage out.
Right. Oh, he said. Sam said, as a woman, I shouldn't have to feel uncomfortable because you feel like you have a right to shoot your shot.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, and you're right. I think that again, it can be lost in translation. Something can be lost in translation. How you approach someone,
right?
All the difference in the world, and not everyone knows how to approach, and not everyone is approachable. Right? Some people walk out the door with a mindset, not today.
Right.
Other people walk out the door with the mindset, please, please, please shoot your shot
today. Right.
So it's the mindset, it's the approach, it's all of these things, which is why relationship building is such hit and miss. Right. That wow. It's hard out here in these streets.
Rich said, absolutely, Sam, but why is it wrong to pay a compliment to you, but be greatly respectful at the same time? I mean, I get it, like, but you have to be mindful of the response. Like she's working out on the treadmill, she's doing her thing, and you step up beside trying to tread too, like, hey, but you can see obviously like she got the I'm not interested face. Like, be aware of the response. She already gave you the hey. Oh, she said, my dear nephew, you're so right. They just don't know. Good manners are always the name of the game, right? But you make an assumption.
Good manners are not always the name of the game. Right? Because we live in a day and age where if you're not using the B word, you're soft. Some people only respond to toxicity.
Next on the Brothers of Legacy.
Hey,
I mean, listen, what did we say? I'm saying, take that one. I'm gonna put a pin in that one.
I see some stuff happening. Like, right. How does that work? Like, really? This is what you want? Like, you want somebody to talk to you like that?
Right. Right.
I have to tell my daughters that's not it.
That's not.
Right.
He said, but you're making an assumption that I want your compliment. Everything doesn't need to be said. I hear you, Sam, and I get it because I don't want nobody talking about it. But I guess, like I said, it's the grocery store. I see you. Obviously, at least my thing is respect the ring. Like, you see the ring, respect the ring. Respect the ring. You see the wedding ring on. It's either, even if it ain't current, it's a defense. Like, I got it on because I don't want to be talked to. Not the hand though.
Listen, I'm married over 20 years, and I love compliments.
Right.
And my wife gets complimented all the time. Right. When if someone compliments my wife, I'm like, thank you.
Right.
I don't think that complimenting someone should be based on them being single or married.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
A compliment is a compliment.
Yes, indeed.
Right. Because a compliment does not always equate to shooting a shot.
True.
Some people generally want to tell you that you look nice, you're beautiful, or whatever, that you're handsome, or whatever the case might be.
Right.
Just want to pay you a compliment. I think that the issue is, we're so easily offended. Like, I didn't ask you to compliment me, but I didn't know I needed your permission to tell you that you look nice.
Right. I got you.
Right? I mean, accept the compliment and keep it moving. Now, if it turns into something else, then you deal with that. But the compliment stands alone unless something else transpires.
I got you. I got you.
Right?
Right.
And again, it matters what kind of package it comes in. I think we just, we take stuff way too deep. And the reality is some people have to wake up to the realization, you look nice, but you ain't that special.
Mm.
And I'm sure you don't want to be told that. So
right.
I would think that you would just accept the compliment and keep it moving. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Right.
And
I got you. Just the response after is what we deal with. So Deborah said he knew the situation and still persisted to give his number. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Some your parents are sick, but when you need somebody to call, you may need to call me. I got to change up my verbiage a little bit. Okay, I got you. I'm praying for you. If you ever need somebody to call, here's my number. Tim says, on the other hand, there are so many women who are desperate for a man and will dress and do whatever it takes to get attention. Indeed. Which said, I know that not interested face guys. Some women need a man to validate them. Yes, that is, she said that is hard to hear. Let's see. I had two women walking behind me say, I had a great, all right. I didn't ask for that, but also like, oh, okay, thank you. Yeah. So it says some women don't find value in themselves. That's why it's such value for a man to be in their daughter's life. Yes, indeed. See, it's that turn. It's that turn into something else. That's the problem. Right. Yeah. Sam tells me last time she go to the store.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. It's really great that you're not jealous man and understand when your wife get a compliment. Yeah. I mean, I don't trip out over that stuff because she's an attractive woman.
But my thing is it's deeper than that for me because I'm like, she's my wife. I promise you, she's designed for me. Right. You're not going to be able to handle this. Right?
Don't worry. Like,
I'm not like, no, she fine, ain't she? Yeah. After that, you better leave her alone. You don't want none of that. You don't.
It's amazing that as a woman, I should have to accept your behavior, whether I want it or not. That's some crap.
That's not what anybody's saying. Listen, we have toxic people out there, and if it's toxic to you, you don't accept that. It's really just that simple.
Right. Trina said, I guess we need a sign to show single and looking, like a yellow bracelet, single not looking. Hold on, single and looking, and then like a yellow bracelet, single not looking, and then a green, approach me.
But see, the thing is, that goes back to reading the signs, buying and selling.
Right.
You know when someone's selling something, and you should be able to know when someone's buying what you're selling. Right.
Yeah.
You should also be able to know whether someone is not interested in your brand.
Right.
That's just real. I mean, this happens time and time again, and there's always going to be people who there are always going to be people who are doing too much.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. They're going to be men who do too much. They're going to be women who do too much. Right. What happens when the toxicity comes from the female side? Right. I know we're talking about toxic masculinity, but toxic masculinity is not always coming from a man.
Right. So stay tuned. We're going to continue this conversation. We got so much more to talk about. This is just the beginning. Tomorrow we're going to define toxic masculinity. I'm going to talk about some of where it started, some of the movements that have happened during the 80s and 90s that I didn't know about, which is interesting. And we're gonna really dig into this conversation. By the end of this week, we're gonna get some real understanding about this toxic culture altogether. Let's see. Deborah says some guys think an apology makes everything okay, and you're supposed to go back to communicating when you may just want to move on and not have any sort of relationship.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. You think that just because I apologized that we can go back to normal? You know,
I said sorry. Dang.
Yeah, I can forgive you, and I'm moving on away from you.
Right. I said sorry.
Yeah, people say forgive and forget. Well, I can forgive and not forget. I'm going to remember not to mess with you.
Right. Throw that in the sea of forgetfulness.
Yeah.
Throw that. All right. So they make it so blatantly obvious. Thank you, Mama Corey. Appreciate you. So make sure you share, tag some people, because I know a lot of folks are not having this conversation the way we have it, because we're special. We're special. As always, I appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us, being a part of our broadcast as we dig into this very sensitive topic of toxic masculinity and toxicity all together. And I appreciate you. And we're going to dig into this. Like I said, this week is we're really going to define it, get some clarity, and discuss a healthy masculinity in essence, because toxic has been thrown over like just masculine. It seems everything that's masculine has gotten that toxic label from the patriarchy, which when I looked up, I was like, that is bananas. But we can dig into the conspiracy of that as well. So we look forward to seeing you guys same time, same channel. Make sure you share. This is your opportunity to still share. Let some people know, like, yo, the brothers are really talking about some good stuff. Be a part. Help us grow. Help us become better. Also, two things. Go to scrolling across the screen, BOL, thebrothersoflegacy.com. Order your BOL apparel. Show your support so people will ask you, who are the Brothers of Legacy? As we begin to push a community-based programs into different areas. And sign up to be a member and a partner at thebrothersoflegacy.com as well, and be a part of how we're growing across this nation to change some mindsets when it comes to masculinity and men and being a legacy builder. Because legacy is not just about property and money, but it's a mindset and setting our next generation in the right position to be able to handle what we leave them. All right. So we look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow, same time, same channel. Be blessed, guys, and know that we love you. God loves you more. Stay safe. Continue to wear the mask. Do the 6 feet. Mask, 6 feet. Vaccines, up to you. Mask, 6 feet. I love the 6 feet. I love it. I love it. And we'll see you in the morning.
As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for hanging. Make sure sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the background that I know see this show, I appreciate you as well.